Hey y'all, it's Lily Mae here, and welcome to Glambitious Weekly, a recap of hot topics and trending conversations. Let's just talk about it, okay? There's a lot going on, so let's just talk about it, all right? And make sure that you subscribe so that you can get more of this content coming humming at you. All right. So there's a lot going on with some of our favorite celebrities and personalities and influencers. And so recently there was a lot of talk about, Kandi and Todd getting a divorce. Kandi, who's, Grammy winning songwriter in one of the most, popular groups of our era in the 90s, Real Housewives, Broadway, all the things, she recently filed for a divorce. And so there's been a lot of conversation about women in power protecting their assets, which I think is a great conversation to have as entrepreneurs. But one area of this whole thing I want to touch on was the nature of people having a very public life, but then private pain. Because I feel like social media presents a polished image for all of us. And I was even thinking that about myself because I had a really rough weekend. And I was thinking, man, like people have no idea. Like it's rough over here sometimes. And I think that's just the human experience. And so Kandi got a very vulnerable on her recent Amazon Live. And so let me pull that up really quickly here.
So all the times you be seeing me online like, all of that means nothing. I've been going through it, y'all. I've been going through it. Life has been lifing me.
What a very, very transparent thing to share. Okay. That life has been lifing for her as well. And so we definitely want to keep her in our prayers because I know that that's not an easy season to go through a divorce when you have children and assets and you're a public figure. But it is something for us to keep in mind, especially as we enter this holiday season and we see these picture perfect presentations on social media, that we remember that everyone is having a human experience. Everyone is going through something, whether it's now or later. Like we're all going through like the ebbs and flows of life. And so it's important that we not envy people or we not put people on a pedestal thinking that they have it all, that, life is just always, a bed of roses for them, because that's just not true. We're all having a human experience, no matter how wealthy you are, no matter if you're married or single, no matter if you're tall or short. We're all going through things in this life, and it's important that we have that perspective, because I feel like sometimes, with the gloss of social media just presenting this picture perfect presentation of everyone's life, that it can affect you and your psyche, right? Like if you're single and you see everyone, it looks like in your algorithm is on a vacation or everyone's in matching pajamas this Christmas, then you start to feel some type of way, like, Lord, what's up though? Where's my match at, right? Or if it looks like everyone is successful but you're having a hard time in business, it can really affect your psyche and your perspective of your season. And so I applaud Kandi for being transparent on her Amazon Live to let us know, like, hey y'all, I'm having a real life experience here. Life is not picture perfect. Just because you see all of the gloss and the beautiful pictures and me smiling and me at the award shows and me with other celebrities, just because you saw all of that, it doesn't mean that I'm not having, a real life experience behind the scenes. And so I thought that was just, applaudable for her to be transparent, because she did not have to, but she did. And so it's very, I think something for us just to kind of keep in mind, like people with public lives, they have private pains. Okay. Your favorite influencers, your favorite celebrities, everyone, no one is above the human experience. And a part of the human experience, it includes challenge, it includes pain, obstacles, and things to overcome. So let's definitely keep Kandi in our prayers, because I feel like she's been a really, really good role model for women everywhere. I feel like she's been a very upstanding individual, even on like the Real Housewives of Atlanta. It just seemed like she was always giving people opportunities and really helping people. And so when I see someone that, is operating in that way, I definitely wish them well. And I, hope the best outcome. Another part of that conversation, though, was about protecting assets as a woman entrepreneur. You don't have to be a millionaire to protect your assets, right? To consider having a prenup. And so put in the comments what your thoughts are. As like an everyday person, what are your thoughts about having your future husband sign a prenup? Okay, to protect the assets that you're working on, even if you're nowhere near becoming a millionaire. What are your thoughts on that? Put in the comments, because I think that it is important, even if you're not a millionaire, that you have your husband or your wife to sign a prenup. I do believe in prenups, whether you're a millionaire or not. When you've built something and you put energy into building businesses like most of us entrepreneurs have, I think it's very important that you make sure that you protect that, because one thing we cannot control is other people. And we've seen it so many times where people fall in love, and then if it goes the other way, if someone wakes up and decides they don't want to be married, now all of your hard work and all of the assets that you built prior to them are at stake. So I do believe in prenups, and I would love to hear your thoughts. If you believe in a prenup as an everyday person, meaning like a non-celebrity person, do you believe in it? So let me know your thoughts. So speaking of, public lives and private pains, Issa Rae was also kind of in the news here recently because she did an interview with Kev on Stage, who is, one of my favorite comedians. And during the interview, she talked about feeling stagnant, right? And it's like, not Issa Rae, who has all of the deals, all of the things, the movies, the shows. Not Issa Rae. Yes, Issa Rae. And it even made it down to CNBC, right? Where she's quoted about, even though she appears successful, she feels stagnant. So the question that Come on Stage asked her, let me pull it up. He said, do you consider yourself successful right now? She said it, and this is a quote: I know that I appear successful to other people, but right now, no, I really feel stagnant. I feel really stagnant. She responded, I only feel successful when my ish is on the air. And, for most of us, everyday civilians, I would fair to say that we look at, Issa Rae as someone who is wildly successful, right? And so I thought it was interesting that she was very transparent to say, yes, I've achieved success in different areas, but in this season, I feel stagnant. I don't feel successful because, as creatives, as entrepreneurs, we're accustomed to a certain level of momentum. And when that momentum isn't happening, it's so easy to feel like you should be doing more. Something else should be popping off. And so even, for me, I've definitely felt that. And I think it's just like ebbs and flows, right? Like we all have ebbs and flows. And I think it's very important that in the season of ebbs and flows that you know how to flow with it and not allow yourself to internalize a feeling of not being successful just because this is maybe a season of rest, or this might be a season of creating, where you're creating but you're not putting it out yet, right? This could be a season of strategy where you're strategizing. And so seasons, are part of life. We have spring, winter, summer, fall. It cannot always be summertime. What is that? I feel like a Kanye West song just came to me. Even if it's a summer, it cannot always be night. It's some kind of little Kanye thing that came to my mind. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Even it cannot always be night. Okay, I don't remember the song, but it's a Kanye song. But it can't always be night. It can't always be day. And I feel like it's important that we learn to flow with the ebbs and the flows, like roll with it, and not allow that to make us feel some type of way because we're not constantly having something active or something live or something popping, right? So I thought that was interesting that, even though for most of us, she's, you know, wildly successful by our standards, in her world or in her mind or in her perception in this season, she doesn't see it as such. So what do you think about that? Do you relate to feeling like, yes, there's money in the bank, yes, I've had some successful things happen, yes, I built a brand that's recognizable, I have clients, etc., yes, I'm married, yes, I have a house on the hill, but I still feel some type of way like this season isn't seasoning, right? You want in the salt-based season and it's not happening right this minute. Put in the chat and let me know like where you fall in that, because I think it's just, again, a part of the human experience. And I applaud when celebrities keep it a buck. I applaud when celebrities keep it 1,000, because it just lets us know that they are having a human experience just like us, that we're all, having similar feelings and similar experiences one way or the other. Just because someone is known or on TV or, in the movies, it doesn't mean that they're absolved from, having certain types of feelings and things like that. So, Issa Rae is someone I greatly admire. And I'm sure within the next couple of months, we'll be seeing some projects from her for sure, on the big screen. This is probably just a little bit of a restoration period, if you will. So another one of my faves that's also been in the news is Miss B Simone. Miss B Simone is definitely anointed. She has the going viral anointing. Okay. She has the viral anointing because everything that she says, everything that she does somehow always becomes viral. And so recently she went viral for basically saying that she's going to choose the coins over Christ. Yes. Let's hear it.
I said I would rather have $1 trillion because I feel like God left his word. He left the Bible. There's nothing that he is going to tell me probably in those 10 minutes that isn't already in his word. And secondly, if you have a relationship with him, he can talk to you now. I truly believe the Holy Spirit is in me and he could talk to you. But Pharaoh's like, no, like I want to sit. You said you wanted to sit with Jesus, right? Yeah. Also, I feel
Now, ma'am, ma'am. Let me first say, if given the opportunity to sit with Jesus in live and live in color for any amount of time over anything, I'm choosing Christ over the coins, over anything, any day. That's just me. I'm choosing Christ over the coins every time. If y'all say, Lily, you're going to get 90 seconds in person with the Christ, I'm sitting with the Christ. Okay. That's I'm not choosing the coins over the Christ. Now, I do understand her perspective. And I think that she went viral for this because here lately her brand has been more, faith based. And so, she's talked more about, faith based topics and really kind of led with the Lord, if you will, in her podcasts and things of that nature. And so I think that because she's attracted more of a faith-based community now, that people are like, wait a minute, hold on, wait a minute, you choosing coins over the Christ? So, I kind of understand her perspective. It's like, okay, Christ dwells within, we can talk to him anytime, etc. But we all know that in this faith walk, we have doubts. There's been times where we thought we heard the Lord and it was really our flesh. There's been times where we thought we should go left, but then we went right. Or we thought God said right, we went left. So there's, been a lot of times where we as humans have had a little static on that line, even though Christ, of course, the Holy Spirit dwells within us. So when you're talking like he could sit right here and I could talk and I could see him like you seeing me, I'm choosing that 60 seconds, that 10 minutes. Do you know how many questions I can get answered in 10 minutes from the Lord? I just want to touch the hem of his garment. Can we talk about that? If he's sitting right beside me, I just want to rub up on the garments, right? Like, come on. Like, let's think about that. In the Bible, people were going through it to just try to touch the hem of his garment and their lives would change. So I'm sorry. If I'm given the chance to sit with the Christ, I'm sitting with the Christ. I'm not choosing the coins because we can always make coins. We're creatives, we're entrepreneurs, we have the ideas, we have the gifts, so we can always make the coins. And granted, $1 trillion is a lot of coins because it was a choice between $1 trillion and 10 minutes with the Lord. If you didn't hear it, it was, would you rather have $1 trillion or 10 minutes with Jesus? And I'm sorry, I'm choosing the 10 because I want to touch the garments. I got specific questions, need answers. And I feel like there would be 60 seconds in there where he could give me the $1 trillion play. Truthfully, the Lord can give me that $1 trillion play in a 10 minutes, but and then some people are like, well, after we pass, we'll be with Jesus forever. That is true. But in that, we'll be with Jesus forever in spirit, right? But to be able to sit with him one-on-one while we're still here on earth and get 10 minutes, touch his garments, get the $1 trillion playbook from him, whatever the answers are that need to be answered, that's priceless. I feel like you can't put a dollar sign on that. What do you think? I would love to see in the comments, would you pick $1 trillion or 10 minutes with Jesus? Let's talk about it because I want to know. I want to know what the saints got to say about this, if they agree with me, Simone, or if they agree with me. Speaking of people who have become quite agreeable, if you're into the Real Housewives franchise, there's one such lady that has become quite agreeable, as in everyone loves her. That's what I mean. Like, she's like the rising star, okay? And let me pull it up in case you're wondering what rising star I'm talking about. First of all, let me share this. When I saw this, this on Threads, game over. Okay. Like, people are creative. And if you're wondering, like, what is this, Lily? Are you watching cartoons? What are you into? No, this is a caricature of the Real Housewives of Potomac. And there's been like a breakout star. Her name is Stacey. And she has, set the housewife franchise on fire. Everyone loves her. Everyone is excited about her presence on the show. And, I want to name her as my MVP of this episode. So with every episode of Glambitious Weekly, I'm going to recognize like a true MVP, a true most valuable player. And I feel like she deserves it.
But still I rise.
Period. Okay. Because even though, she's, not a favorite amongst her castmates, she's still our rise. Like, they are coming for her. They are ganging up on her. On a recent episode, she was leaving a party, and then one of them came up to her. I think Giselle came up to her and was like hitting the elevator, like, yeah, you can go. Like, like low-key bullying my friend Stacey. I didn't like that. They're coming up against her. They're trying to argue with her. They're picking on her. They're calling her a liar. They're all ganging up, and she's staying so poised, and so she is the MVP. And I'm wondering if her being, like the breakout star of the season, she's definitely saved the season, because Candace was one of my favorite castmates. She's not on there anymore. Where is Candace? We need Candace back, first of all. We need Candace back. But since we don't have Candace, they've given us, Stacey, and she's the breakout star. I'm very excited about her. And I'm wondering if she's going to have the first seat on the reunion. So if you follow Housewives, then you know that whoever has the first seat to the right or to the left of Andy, they're like the MVPs of the season. And I feel like Stacey has earned it. She's carrying the show on her back. She's remaining poised. And I think what's really likable about her is that she has an authentic presentation of who she is. She's different from everybody else. She's not like any of the other ladies, but she owns it. And I think there's something to be said about really just showing up as who you are and owning it, whether that's quirky, whether that's bougie, whether that's a little hood, whatever it is, whatever you are, right? Whatever ingredients God put in the mix when he created you, the gumbo of you. I think when you show up as that, people can really resonate it. Now, to the contrary, there's another castmate that's on there that people are not resonating with. And so there's that, so you might show up as yourself and people might not like you. Like one of the other castmates, she's having a hard time. I don't know if she's showing up as her authentic self, but it seems that way, and people are not liking it. So there is that catch-22 that you can show up as your authentic self, and some people won't like it, but guess what? Others will, right? And so that's why I want to say that, Miss Stacey is the MVP. Look her up. She was on QVC, and she did a lot of QVC, work. And so a lot of those clips have gone viral as well. When she's like, ooh, the earrings, the drama, like she makes everything so exciting. Just a pair of hoop earrings, and she can make it so exciting. So I'm really enjoying her personality on the Real Housewives of Potomac. So if you're not tuned in, make sure you're tuning in. Let me know if you are watching Potomac, who is your MVP this season? Is it Stacey? Is it Wendy? Because Wendy is holding it down too. I feel like, Stacey and Wendy are the best tag team this season, and they're giving us something to watch. Without them, I definitely would not be tuned in. So who is your Real Housewives of Potomac favorite? Put it in the comments, because Stacey is definitely mine, and I cannot wait to see the reunion and catch up on the latest episode. So that, concludes the Glambitious. Ciao. It's nighttime. It's nighttime at the time that I'm recording this. But I said to myself, I have to do this, because this has been something I've been wanting to do for a while, like a news recap every week. But it's like so much going on that I always like, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. And so I made myself do it tonight. And that's why I'm calling my own brand the wrong name. I'm saying Glambitious, like I'm an Italian. Okay, that's a horrible accent. Forgive me if I have any Italian followers. I like to do accents, and that was a bad one. But thank you for tuning in to Glambitious Weekly. Okay, this was the first episode. Let's see how it goes. If you like this, if this was kind of a vibe, put in the comments. Keep it going, Lily, because I need encouragement. Like if this gets 10 views, y'all won't see Glambitious Weekly again. I need this to rack up some views. So share it with a friend, because we need to see, a couple hundred views at least for me to keep this going. So share it with a friend, leave a comment and say, keep it going, Lily. If you want me to keep doing kind of like a weekly recap of some trending topics, I would love to keep that going. Another trending topic I didn't touch on, but I will now since we're at the end, the Diddy documentary on Netflix. I watched it. It was very dark. It was very sad. It was very disheartening. And I will say, if you have not watched it and you're very sensitive, I would encourage you to not watch it because it is heavy. And I felt the heaviness on me for like a couple of days after watching it. And so, I know it's a trending topic right now, but it's just so dark that I didn't want to necessarily cover it in the recap today, but I did want to mention that if you have not watched it and you're very sensitive, you're an empath or anything like that, you might not want to watch it because it's dark, it's heavy. And I think seeing so many people really be damaged and hurt and affected and assaulted, it's a lot. Like, it's really a lot to conceive that a person could, that another human being could implement so much pain on people. It's a lot. It's dark. So I would say skip it if you are sensitive. Now, if you're an OG Bobby gangster and you built like this, have at it. It's definitely eye-opening. Even though I've seen the other documentaries, this one was different. This one was heavier. This one was darker. This one was, it really, it will make you feel some type of way. It really, really will make you feel some type of way, which leads me to this point. It's so important to stay prayed up because there are really dark energies out here. And this documentary shows that, how dark it can get. And I think sometimes, especially if you're in your own world and your own day-to-day bubble, sometimes we forget about the spiritual warfare and the principalities that are out here. When we leave our house, we forget what's outside of the household. And for some of y'all, it might be inside the household. You might need to sprinkle a little oil around, anoint the kids, anoint the husband, anoint the wife, whoever, anoint who's in your household, cast them demons up out of there. Okay. But in all seriousness, we forget that, there is dark energy here on earth. There is, negative energy outside of your doorsteps. And there are people out there that want to do people harm for no reason. And so it's so important that we stay prayed up, that we cover ourselves in prayer before we leave the house, that we pray at night, that we really stay connected to God to try to shield ourselves and our loved ones from, the possible dangers that lurk about, because it's really dark out there. And that documentary definitely drove that point home. Didn't want to end on a dark note. I hate that I brought that up at the end, but maybe it was necessary for someone to be reminded that, hey, let me, get back into my word. Let me, get that connection with God a little stronger so I could not just cover myself, but cover others, and even pray for the people in the documentary that they be healed and restored. I think as believers, sometimes we assume that our gifts are for ourselves and those in our immediate circle, like our families and friends. But no, if God's called you to intercede and be a prayer warrior, if he's made you sensitive, he's probably made you sensitive for a reason, because he wants you to pray for others. He wants you to intercede, even for strangers that you don't know. And so I think praying for the people in the documentary would be like a great next step for me to do, for you to do, and just praying that those people be healed and restored, by the mighty power of Jesus, because he is, a restorer. So I do pray that for everyone that was impacted and affected and assaulted and hurt, that they be restored. I think that is, our job as believers is to intercede for people. So I didn't even mean to end on that note, y'all. I wanted to end on a positive note because I finally got through doing a Glambitious weekly news roundup. So this is exciting. This is an accomplishment. This is a check off of the list. And I hope that you find that one thing that you need to check off the list and check it off this week. That is my homework to you. What is the one thing that you said you need to do, you want to do, and you've been procrastinating? For me, it's doing this. And I've accomplished it. Now, it wasn't perfect. It wasn't seamless. I done mixed up my own brand name. It wasn't perfect, but I got it done. And I think sometimes getting it done is better than perfect. So what is the one thing that you're going to do do this week and check it off your list. Put it in the comments so that we can hold you accountable. Put in the comments what you're going to do. Are you going to work out 5 times this week? Are you going to launch that podcast? Are you going to start writing that book? Are you going to publish that magazine? What are you going to do? Are you going to start planning that event? Are you going to schedule some pitches to some sponsors? What is that one thing that you're going to do that you've been procrastinating on? Put it in the comments. We're going to hold you accountable, because once you do it, you need to come back to the comments and say, I did that. I did that. And so I do have an opportunity for those of you who are speakers, who are entrepreneurs. You can join us as a speaker in Martha's Vineyard in 2026. We are going to bring the Glambitious Brunch to Martha's Vineyard during the Martha's Vineyard African American Festival. This is an African American film festival. Sorry, let me get it right. The Martha's Vineyard African American Film Festival. And so at this festival, your favorite celebrities, including like Issa Rae, I think she was there either this year or last year. President Obama has attended. It is a time. So if you want to always go to Martha's Vineyard, and B, you're into film and you want to, make some connections in that world, or C, you just want to be around your favorite celebrities and get kind of some previews of the films that they're coming in, this is a time for you to join us. So if you want to get tickets, you can visit vineyardbrunch.com. But if you want to be a speaker or panelist at my brunch during that week, visit theglamceo.com. Okay. So that's an opportunity we have for you. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you leave a comment. Let me know how I did, y'all. Because number one, I'm sleepy. It's actually 2:20 a.m. So if you're wondering why I was a little bit on the struggle bus today. If you wonder why I was a little bit on the struggle bus, it's 2:20 a.m., but I really wanted to check this off and get it done. So I look forward to getting your feedback in the comments. Thanks so much for tuning in.